All right, so today we're taking a ride right now in an electric. Very cool. It's actually silent. We're moving, you guys.
This guy's got two. This is two motors. This is dual.
This is, oh, holy God, Jesus. All right, that is right on. That's fun. Is this, so what powers this thing?
So you got 18s smart car batteries that are recycled from a crash.
Oh, right on. Car. No waste. I love it.
And then it's got a AC50 and an AC50 twin, like together, parallel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's dual motors.
Yeah, and then stock transmission.
And you just put it in third. I've heard.
Yeah,
that's the basic
gear,
thing.
And then there's another.
And
gear.
you can do fourth, but it helps kind of give you a little more range when you're in fourth. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Oh wow.
And it's doing regen.
And it's regenning right now. I can hear it.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
I can tell you how many.
Yeah.
amps
So
we're
it's
using.
regenning the amps as you slow down. So we don't use much for brakes. So the brakes would probably last forever in this thing.
Yeah.
Probably. Very cool.
This is how many amps we're using. I keep it.
Okay.
If I baby it, I can stay under 100.
Yeah. So what would the realistic range be for this thing?
This is about 100.
About 100? Okay.
This has got about a 54.
It's great for like car shows and around town and stuff.
Yeah, 54 kilowatt pack. If anybody knows that kind of size.
KHWs.
Yeah.
54. I mean, I have an e-bike and I kind of get the electric thing. Oh, so here we are right here.
Yeah, we're charging.
We're charging right over here. We're going to go plug in the charge station and maybe we'll show you how that works out. It's kind of neat. I do have a charging app on my phone. How about that? I don't have an electric car and I have a charging app. That's pretty good. But I actually, we're see in front of us is a VW bus. Let's see if we can get you zoomed in. How about that? It's powered by electric too. And that was driven all the way from the Bay Area to Southern California. So now we're at, is this a level 2 then?
Yeah.
This is a level 2 charging station. It has to be a specific one. Charge Point is one of the brands that they use. Are you going to charge too?
Yeah.
Okay. So guys, I use my app. You do, push this little thing and then it unlocks this little fella.
Ta-da!
And let's plug it in, see what happens. So you plug this thing in.
This is called the J1772.
Yeah, J1772. Every car's, I guess there's a few different ones. I don't know how it works exactly yet. But he's charging. It charges J1772, and you plug it in, and now he's charging. So,
well, let's see. It should.
And it's on the app that I can't show you guys. It's actually showing me how much I'm being charged, which is very, very cheap. I think it's $1.50 an hour or something like that. What is it?
So we're charging at. Let's see. We're at 4.2 kilowatts. And something happened.
Oh, you're down that far right now.
Well, that's when I'm charged the rate.
Oh, you're putting in 4.2. Wow.
Yeah.
That's kilowatts per hour going in.
Yeah.
Or? Okay.
So, yeah.
So 4 kilowatts an hour, and you have a 50 some odd.
Yeah. So you'd have
kilowatts.
Right.
So the whole thing is you plug in at a lot of different places. Like let's say you stop to get coffee, you plug in. You go to somewhere else.
Yeah. Always
plug in. Yeah.
You want to plug in where you are.
Yeah.
You don't want to don't think about a fill. That's the gas is quicker.
You don't fill up. You don't fill up. You're just putting
You're charging while you go do something.
Yep.
You go eat. You go use the bathroom. You're at your house. You're at your work.
Yeah.
Charge.
Yep. Every time you stop.
Just like your
phone.
phone.
Then you get free parking. Like usually, right now we're at a park where they have these stations because we were at a car show a minute ago. So we just looked at that. Well, let's check out the engine or the motor. I mean, I always call them motors anyway.
Yeah,
that's pretty beefy. And it's dual motor, so that's the one and the second one.
Yeah.
There's a cooling system. Does it have a battery cooling system, or is that not available in this technology? Then?
You could do it, but they didn't do it on this.
Okay.
So like a factory car would have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And so this is a this is an AC50 times 2.
Oh wow. That's why it's juicy.
Yeah, and then these are controllers that talk to each other.
Yeah, it's like you guys ever done like your RC cars and stuff like that? That's the controllers, basically a bigger version of that.
Totally. In
this car that run this thing. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, what roughly does something like this cost to put in? Let's just say.
So let's leave the batteries out of the equation for a second. It's
That can change all the time too. The batteries can get less expensive.
I would say about 10 grand in all the parts.
Okay.
Maybe you could do it for a little less, maybe 7. But then the battery is a major factor. So the battery's like, could be
depends on the range of how much.
Or $15,000 depending on what you're doing. But you can get recycled batteries.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference.
And you never buy gas.
Never ever. You're done.
You're done. You don't have to buy gas. You got your classic car running on electric power.
And you're double or triple the horsepower.
Oh yeah. Well, it's definitely. It would definitely. My 1904 would give it a little run for its money, but it's not too bad. I mean, it's actually pretty juicy and fun and quiet and good for the environment. You know, it's not a bad thing. I'm not against electric cars, guys. The guys that think, you know, that I am, I'm not against them. I just know that they have a purpose. They're great. Something like this. Could you imagine something like this, you know, driving one of these as a daily driver to work? It'd be so cool.
I mean, it's just an option. Yeah. I'm a piston guy too. Like, you know, I fix small engines. My day job is I'm a high school auto shop teacher.
Yeah.
But I just want to give the kids and the new people and hot rodders a chance.
Yeah. Something
this
new.
Is something to look at.
Yeah.
And the people that did it, you should check them out, is EV West. That's
EV West did this. Yeah, they did the conversion. I mean, it's really neat. I'm like I said, I don't know if I see myself going to electric. You know, for me, the range might be an issue. It depends on the car shoes I'm going to. Then I might go, well, I don't want to take this car because the range isn't very good. But it actually is really cool, and it is. This is an evolving technology, and whether you're kind of a person that's a green person or not, it's still something that to look at, you know, for the future. As you know, as oil supply diminishes, things like that, we're going to have more and more of this type of thing. So wow, look at that. And this is kind of the thing that's kind of cool. You didn't wreck the car. No. You just added to it. You just added this right here. And
you got to add your, mounting brackets or whatever, but you're not modifying the car. You probably could put this back to gas if you.
Yeah, if you really wanted to. I don't think you ever will, but well, you may end up later on. Let's say the battery technology gets better. You may have a new battery system by the time, let's say, these wear out. You may decide to go with the newer battery system that may be more dense, and you may have more range. So that's the only thing that can happen, is it can get better. So
it's only going to get better.
It's only going to get better.
Good point.
Yeah, 100%. It is. That's right. Like I said, I think it's really cool. He's got some LEDs up here, so save energy.
He's got some lights. I'll put the lights on.
He's got over here LED, and I bet they're super bright. Oh, they don't look bright, but they are. That is cool. I have LED headlights on my. I think he's got these down here. I have them on my bus. They really are nice and bright. It's very daylightish.
And then don't forget, you got.
So you went with these are LEDs probably too, to use less energy.
Bonus round.
Oh, you guys. So let's talk about this this one here. This is a little bit older battery technology. This just drove all the way from
Canadian border.
What? No, he didn't go to the Canadian border. He actually didn't make it.
Sure.
There were some range issues because of charging times. Okay.
This did go coast to coast.
But it did go. Yeah, it went from the East Coast or the West Coast to the East Coast, or vice versa. I don't know which way. And it's very cool. Like I said, and the range was actually pretty good. He did like almost 200 miles. And this isn't a Tesla. Teslas have a lot better battery system because they're actually water or coolant cooled batteries, so they're more efficient. So here's this is a single motor here, if you guys notice.
This is a different company called.
Well, he has a battery over here too.
Oh, you need your 12 volt.
Oh, your 12. Oh, that's right. This is like, how many volts is this?
This one's probably 120 or 140
Well, don't touch those wires.
Yeah.
That one is live, boy.
3-phase. It goes 2 into 3-phase.
That's a 3-phase. That's a big motor in there.
Yeah, but you keep the 12 volt in all of it.
Okay. And then it charges it with the lithium, converts it in, and
it's like an electronic alternator.
Yeah, okay. That's neat.
Those are chargers.
Yeah, the charger 1 and charger 2. So this has a regen system. As you're driving, as you're braking. Let's talk about some of the things real quick on electric cars that are kind of neat and how it works. A lot of people don't understand when you're driving one of these, when you accelerate, you don't want to immediately brake hard in this. You want to like coast and let it regen and then brake easily. This is the way you drive a newer electric car as well.
Yeah,
you want to brake easily to get it to regen. Okay. So that way you're getting more battery power back to your batteries as you're slowing down versus just using your brake pads and wasting energy.
That's true.
Okay, I'm not totally familiar with the battery size and everything else on this, but I want to talk to you guys about it. It is very large compared to what is available now. This thing was made a few years back, so technology, from what I understand, this is about 2/3 of the size, or the new one would be 2/3 of the size of this one. So anyway, 2/3 the size, this one is the new one, the new technology. So it would, and then if you had a battery this size, your range would be a lot further, and we wouldn't have had as many issues as we did driving it from Northern California. Check this out, guys. That's pretty cool. So let's look at what they got here going on. You can see he can show how he's it's showing charging where he's at, 33% charge, and he just drove this I think 120 miles on the last charge, so he was on about 20%, and it's about 100 and something mile range, and it's, like I said, old battery technology. Still, when the newer battery technology. Listen, I'm not all electric guy. I don't think everything's ever going to be all electric. I think it's going to be a big part of our future. I think electric is going to be every commuter car. I mean, it's really simple. And once there is a little difference in learning how to drive it, because you want to use the brake pedal lightly to let it regen as you're slowing down. And a lot of people don't know this when you buy an electric car and they go drive it and they may just slam on the brakes like they normally do. That's not the way you want to drive one of these. You want to ease onto the brake lever and let it start to regen as you slow down. So I don't know.
AEM display.
He's got an AEM display too. That's kind of really cool. And you know what? He doesn't even turn it on. This is somebody else's.
No, it turns on. I just don't mess with it.
Yeah.
This is really the only one I've been relying on. And this one
this
here.
Percentage, yeah.
See, you can tell it's charging because it's got the little.
Yeah. Hey, it's like my solar panels. They do that. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Normally, I can load.
We got a little sun right now, so we're actually maybe we'll charge it on sun. I don't know. Who knows? Could be charging on something else, but. It's still, even when you add, if you charge these things on coal, it's actually less footprint emissions than it is actually if you're using, there's guys out there who've done efficiency checks, and it's actually cleaner still because of the efficiency of it. Electric cars are based on efficiency, and,
So I put, sorry.
So what?
I put 2 kilowatts in as we've been here.
Already.
Wow, you already put 2 kilowatts in here, and we only been here like 30 minutes at most.
Yeah.
Because it says 4.2, so maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance you're going to take about 20. We don't know state of charge with your rig, but I have
halfway.
I got a pretty good idea of state of charge on this bus here, because I rolled in with 30%. I now have 33%. And I usually load about 10% an hour.
10% an hour.
So that means it's really going to take me 7 hours to get up to 100%. But I really don't need.
But you don't need 100%.
I don't need 100%.
The whole idea
to get to where I'm going next
is you're not trying to go for full cycles, because that will also put more taxing on the battery. You're better off getting small bits at a time.
I don't know that that's true for these batteries. It kind of depends. There's different battery chemistry, and some of them will tell you it's better at 90%. Our friend Garcia is also a proponent of not going all the way up and not going all the way down.
Right.
And I think it depends on the chemistry, right, Ron?
Yeah.
It's
Ron's 100% guy. I know you're 100% guy, fully charged.
Yeah, the chemistry is affected by it, but if you're in, it has to do with if you're balanced or, you don't want to go 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but it really isn't that much. It's not much to learn, He teaches it. Yeah, and this guy here, he teaches this stuff. But he's also a gas guy, because he's shop
like
teacher.
us.
So we're not against. I mean, listen, all my cars are gasoline. I don't have an electric car. I'm looking at the options of it, and I think it's diesel. And diesel. I have diesel. clean diesel. Well, dirty diesel, but I'm okay with either one.
I'm
But
okay with
it's more
steam, too,
efficient. It's
you know.
definitely more efficient. It uses less of it, so that's good. But electric power is actually a new coming option. I think it's going to be more and more common. We're going to have to get used to it as a people.
Talk
We're going to
about
have to
cost per
understand
mile.
it. Yeah, cost per mile. Oh,
Why don't
wow.
you talk about cost per mile for a minute?
Oh, man, it is so cheap to run.
So like, let's just say you got to go 100 miles.
Yeah, I think let me just tell everybody. I charged for an hour. I was using my charge app. Tom's wouldn't work. And so I downloaded the charge app in where were we at? San Luis Obispo. And so I downloaded the charge app to help him get charged up because we were having all this problem because he just wasn't used to using it, and he's used to just charging at home because we were on the road. So I put it in. We were on there for an hour. And the charge was like $1.50. So that was crazy. And was that a 4 like this one is, a 4.4? I think it was.
So that was enough to go about 40 miles. That's the thing. You want to talk about
40 miles for $1.50.
cents
Oh, I'm
per
at
mile.
5 kilowatts now.
You're at
Cents per
5.
mile.
Man, this thing's juicing
That's
you.
my rate. But
It went up to 5 kilowatts
yeah,
from
but now
4.4.
I've total 2.3 right now, and it's
Okay, and it was we charge $1.56 if you guys can see that. So it's it's way cheaper than gas. Let me put it that way. If you're buying it at one of these charge stations, and I know there's markup. So if you had this at home, if you were just using your house charger, and it would probably be quite a bit less even yet. So Tom was talking about something that's a really good point. And even if you're not a tree hugger, if you're just like us, he's a VW guy. Okay, I'm a VW guy. Let's just put it this way. We're old school VW guys. We are cheap. Okay. And when you have this thing plugged in at home and you have solar panels on your house, because I have 7 kilowatts of solar, 7 kilowatts, and you have, let's say, a battery backup on your wall, you can charge your battery backup and transfer that energy into your car at night, and you're still, it's costing you nothing. It's the sun.
You're driving on sunshine.
You're just driving on sunshine. So yeah, it's clean, but it's not really, it's cheap. And for us cheap guys, it's pretty cool. So there's a lot of these, there's a lot of pluses, there's some minuses, and there's just some learning curve. There's a lot of different things on this solar stuff and on
especially if you charge at home and you have solar panels.
Yeah.
And I always tell this, it's kind of a fun thing to say, but they can't tax you if you're getting it from outer space.
Yeah.
If your power is coming from the sun, who's going to tax you on that?
Yeah, and like I said, and there's ways to get solar cheaper. A lot of people don't know. We'll talk about that real quick. So one of the things, they had the solar salesman guy came by my house. I'm going to tell you because you've never heard this story. I had the solar salesman guy come to my house, and I go, well, how much is the solar? And he goes, well, your bill is normally $200 a month, and blah, blah, blah. By the time we're done, it'll be free. And I'm like, okay, listen, cut to the chase, brother, or you're leaving right now. Yeah. I said to him, listen, how much is it per kilowatt? And he kind of looks at me and he goes, huh? And I go, dude, you got to know how much it is per kilowatt, because I know how much it is per kilowatt. And he's like, well, a system. I said, how much for 7,000 kilowatts or 7,000 watts? I want 7 kilowatt system. And he's like, how do you know you need 7 kilowatts? I go, dude, I've already done the math. I know I need 7 kilowatts. So I want you to tell me how much a 7 kilowatt system. And he goes, well, a system like that, one guy says, well, 35,000. And I just looked at him and just went, what do you think I am, stupid? Another guy in my house, and he goes, $55,000 for that same system. And so listen, I bought it from a solar kit company, which definitely has markup, but they give you plans.
Oh, okay.
They give you plans. I don't know if you've ever seen this. A solar kit company give me plans. They even had a C10 license in California. This place was called Go Green Solar. They're in Placentia, California. They're closer, and you can go pick them up if you want. And I had issues with the permitting. I tried to get permitting. The city's like, oh, you can't put solar on your own roof. You got to go through. They don't want you. So they go, hey, so I was having trouble. I just called Go Green Solar. He goes, oh, let me handle it. Calls the building official. Done. They're like handing me my permit.
Nice.
So, and then I did it myself. It wasn't hard at all. It was so
you put the
easy to
panels
plug
up
in.
yourself?
Oh, dude, and if you wanted to, you could just hire an electrician.
Perfect.
You could take that and take $4,000 and go give an electrician $4,000. Say, listen,
Yeah.
here's 4 Gs. Can you put this on my roof? He'll look at you and laugh. He'll do it in 2 days.
Yeah.
That's $4,000 in his pocket in 2 days. A lot of guys would do that. So you don't have to go through one of those solar guys. You can go through a kit company. You can do it yourself. You can hire an electrician to do it. It's not hard to do.
You can just get started. Like, just if you don't want to do the whole house, do the garage.
Yeah.
And then charge up your car.
Yeah.
You know, like, just get started in some way. Because it's
Yeah.
like, imagine if you had horses and then there's this gas thing available. The farmer's like, get that gas stuff out of here. But then somebody's going to come around and say, hey, it just makes sense. Look at the numbers.
It's money.
Yeah.
It's money in your pocket.
Forget tradition. Just
don't even think about it. It's be a cheap ass like us and get it because it's cheaper. So yeah, it costs you up front, a lot of money. Look how much it costs to build an engine. But something like this, if you're just driving around locally, it'd be kind of cool to drive around in an electric car. It's like driving a golf cart that's legal.
But it's fun and it's fast.
Oh, it's definitely fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys could feel that. You couldn't feel it like I did, but this thing rips. So it's kind of neat. It's just something different. It's just something to throw out there, maybe something to think about in the future. All right, so anyway, I thought it'd be kind of fun. Let's kind of go through some of the positives and negatives on electric. And I want to tell you guys the the thing that we're looking at was a high performance build. It was not to be efficient. Actually, when we were doing the numbers, it ended up costing about the same driving that thing as it did doing gas. So if you're charging at charging stations, but if you have your own solar panels, then that totally is a game changer, and it also makes you free from paying all those taxes. If you don't like the gas tax, there's a way around it. So check this out. The first thing I was going to say is electric cheaper. Well, it can be. It also, on that circumstance, it really isn't. On the bus, it definitely was cheaper to use. The gas and diesel than gas and diesel. The other thing is that electric can be cleaner. So if you say cleaner, the other thing you can do with your gas engine is, if you want to, you can convert it to E85. The problem with the E85 conversion that I've looked at is it's a little cleaner, of course. It's a little greener. It's better. It's supposed to be almost a carbon neutral fuel. But the problem is, if you were looking at that, the problem is it's not available everywhere, and it lowers your range on your car. So if you got a 10-gallon tank, it's going to be a little tough, if you're going a long distance, like if you were doing the Northern California or the Canada to Mexico cruise that we just did, it'd be a little tough to get fuel to meet your range. Basically, you can change your carburetor jets. You have to go a lot richer or use fuel injection that has a range far enough that will allow E85 to be a fuel. Most of the fuel injection systems, you have to program it for E85, or it's just not getting enough. It'll red flag you and not give you the power you need, or might run you too lean. The next concern with electric power is range. Again, it's a different lifestyle. Everywhere you go, like if you stop for coffee, you plug in, it takes a little more time. You plug in, you go to the grocery store, you plug in, everywhere you go, you plug in. That's why they're putting all these things in all these places, hotels, plug in, Walmart. So that the reason is, you're not wasting time waiting for it to charge. You're just grabbing a little bit as you go. I used to laugh at the guys going to the gas station, getting $5 worth of gas and a pack of cigarettes or whatever. I always thought that was just crazy. And that's almost the kind of lifestyle you need with the electric. It actually fits into that perfectly. But again, I don't like to do that myself. I'm more of fill it up, go for 2 weeks on a tank of fuel, or a week and a half or so. In my diesel cars, I get 400, 500 miles to a tank, and I don't need to fill up very often, which would be a major lifestyle change and a problem for me when I'm going long distances. It's really good for short distance. Now, those of you guys who don't know, your gas mileage in the city is way less. Like, unless you get your car and it says it's rated at 35 miles a gallon, that's highway mileage. On the city, you'd be lucky if you do 20. Most of them don't. I've checked miles on a lot of cars. Most of them are pretty low. Every once in a while, I get one in the 20s, low 20s, but usually not that much in the city. Now, when you're talking about a daily driver like a Tesla or a Volkswagen ID4, the Teslas have a lot more chargers available and they charge faster. The Sucks supercharger, the one we were using, is a very slow speed charger. Those are, I think, for everything. So they have those in a lot of places. They're not for everything. I mean, I don't know, you got to know your plug, you got to know all this stuff. It's a little bit of a learning curve, like I said. And then you go from there and plug in whenever you need, you just plug in as you drive it, and then you have less, you're not trying to fill up the tank. That's the whole thing. It's a different lifestyle. So like your Teslas and your ID4 and stuff like that, they're really based on efficiency. They try and make the vehicle lighter, they try and make it more efficient, and they make it roll better. And that is what gives you your range. When you start adding things like weight, lights on, wipers, it does change the range. Versus in a gas car, you just fill it up and go. And some of those things don't change the range nearly as much. So I'm not saying that you lose all this range when you have a gas car. So let's talk about one other thing that I think a lot of people are pushing electric cars for everyone. And we're going to talk about this because it is not for everyone, and it may never be. In fact, it's probably not ever going to be. And so when you have, let's just talk about this for a second. When you're using your own solar panel and you have some of the newer cars, and it's coming out soon, is they're having in and out technology. So for instance, if you have, let's say you have an electric car and you have an electric classic car, and you have them both parked in the garage, you plug them in, okay? You got two plugs plugged in. One for your classic car, one for your daily driver. And what it can happen if you have solar panels on your roof, they can use that solar, and you use your car to be your battery backup. So you don't need the battery that's on your wall. So your classic car could actually be the battery that you're using during the evening time, and you could be basically off grid by using your classic car as a battery, and then use your daily driver, and then vice versa. So you go to a car show, you plug your car in, you use your classic, and your daily driver car is actually your nighttime battery. Then you're pretty much, your electric is free. Now that is really where it's at. The charging thing, it is kind of expensive when you go out and get charging. And this is something people don't want to talk about. I know because I got the bill. Okay, when you're charging, the amount you pay for charging it gets a little bit pricey because those places are marking up the electricity and they're making money on it, and they're selling it to you at a markup. So it ends up being a little bit, and sometimes it could be a little bit more than actually just buying gas. But if you're doing it, like I say, by using solar at your house, and you have a solar classic and a solar or a battery classic, and you have a battery daily driver, and maybe of course you can have a gas car as well for long range, but you have those things, then you can be off grid, and then it kind of pays for itself to have it. So those are things to look at in the future. Now here's one of the major takeaways. So this is where I'm saying, I've said to people many times, these things are not for everybody. And you guys that live in the city, you need to listen. You need to listen to me what I'm saying right now, because people in the country that are being mandated to have an electric car are going to have a real problem pretty soon when it's mandated in California. It's already a law, and I don't think it should be there. And here's why. Number one, you could live somewhere where there's no sun. If you live up in the mountains, or you have a house that's in the shade all the time, putting solar on your roof would be a complete waste of money. So there's places like if you live in the mountains, you have tall trees all around you. There's a lot of places in California that do not have sun. You guys, if you live in a city, you probably have sun. If people that live in the country may not. Another problem with the trying to mandate electric car for everybody is somebody could be very far from power and also probably have no sun. Those two things are going to go together a lot. Okay, so they could be far from power, and a lot of these people have generators for backup because they have something unreliable power. I've talked to tons of people. I've traveled the whole state of California. I go to places like Lake Isabella, Exeter. I've gone to Taft. I've been Marcopia, all these little towns that you guys have seen on the signs, driving on your Tesla, driving down the freeway. I've been there. And you know what? Some of these places, it's just like the power is unreliable. I'm not saying that those ones in particular, they have sun, but I'm saying some places don't, or they have limited sun during the day, and you can't have solar. It just wouldn't work out for you. So that's what I'm saying. You can't put everybody in the same box. And if you want to push your stuff on people, you're wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. You should realize, okay, this is great for me. This is great for commuters. This is great for people who live in the city, but it's not for everyone. Not everybody has what you have. So you have to think about everybody else, not just yourself, when you want to push this stuff, okay? So there are other options coming out, like things like in Germany, they created a fuel called blue crude. It's diesel fuel made with water, air, using only solar. It's a whole electrolysis process, and it mixes with regular diesel. But it is not zero like the state of California has required for all cars to be. But it is carbon neutral. And it solves a range issue that we have with electric cars. It may be many, many, many years before they ever come up with a battery that's as efficient as people think they're going to come up with. And they've already made rules to push these type of batteries, and that this is all going to happen within this amount of time. And really, you shouldn't make a law without having technology that meets the law. Make an incentive, but not a law. It's the difference. There's also things improving in the area of hydrogen, and it's a little more complicated to work with. I don't really know that much about hydrogen, but there is some improvements coming in that. And it may not be a zero emissions. It might be carbon neutral. And those are good options for other people. So again, making laws for people that we don't have technology that meets that is really kind of hopeful thinking. And laws are pretty rigid. They're already in place. You know, we need things like incentives, guys. It's a different way of doing things. It's the other party that usually does that one. Laws actually make it much easier for politicians to go out and get cash. What they do is they say, okay, I'm going to make this law, and you're a solar panel company. Say we're going to make you have solar on everybody's roof. So they go to the solar companies and they're like, hey, so how much you kicking in? How much you going to put in my campaign? How much you going to give me? And all of a sudden that money funnels into their other accounts or some corporation that's a friend of theirs or something, and they end up with it. Laws actually create corruption. Sorry, it's just the way it works. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and leave it at that, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.